not that terribly long ago, but I've got a huge file. Which the clerk says is mostly return mail from everybody, but this case initiated in August of 2023. And we're here to do the initial judicial review in lieu of a citizens review panel. And we're conducting it virtually over the internet using Zoom. And we have with us the attorney for DFACS, Mr. Skowronek, his case manager, Mr. Moore. Where's your supervisor, Mr. Moore?
I don't know.
Goodness. You are the most senior caseworker, then they trust you out without a supervisor. Ms. Crane is the attorney appointed for the mother, who's not present, Ms. Skula, and Ms. Brinson is appointed as the attorney for the father, Mr. Thrasher, who likewise is not here. And there's Sandra Zorn. If you're going to participate in the hearing, you need to turn your camera on, please, ma'am. It's the paternal aunt. She came to a previous hearing. Do you know where Mr. Thrasher is?
Yes. He called me earlier, and him and Stacy was together, and they called and they was trying to figure out how to get on to the Zoom, but I don't know how.
You could have invited him over to your place, and you could have all three of you could have been with us together.
No, not at my place. I'm at work.
Oh, okay. But you're his sister, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we appreciate your coming. I'm sorry. Are they still having issues?
The last time I checked, I gave her the information that I had, and she said she couldn't get it on with my information, so I don't know. And then she said her lawyer, somebody sent her the information, but they don't have email or something, so I don't know.
Well, I don't know how she knew her lawyer sent her the information.
Exactly. I don't know.
All right. Thank you. All right, Mr. Skowronek, tell me what's transpired since we initiated this case and gave these parents a case plan.
So we had the 75-day review, Your Honor, just about a month ago on October 30th. At that time, the department had reported that Mr. Thrasher had completed some of his assessments. He was referred for a psychiatric evaluation that was scheduled for November 16th with New Heights. Mr. Thrasher did not do the psychiatric evaluation. He has not, to my knowledge, from my notes, been drug screened since we were last in court. The father is visiting and is having contact with the children per Mr. Moore. However, when Mr. Moore goes out to the address that the father is supposedly living at Street in Hampton, Mr. Thrasher is either not there or knows Mr. Moore is at the door and is not coming to the door. He has not been compliant with service providers. They previously had left text messages and voicemails for him, so there's not been any further progress with that. I believe Mr. Moore and I, when we talked about this case last week, reported that Mr. Thrasher was in the Henry County Jail for about 3 weeks. I tried to check with the jail last week after I talked with Mr. Moore, and for whatever reason, their inmate information portal was down, so I wasn't able to get any information as to why he might have been in jail or for how long. And that is basically it, Your Honor. There's been really no progress made by Mr. Thrasher on his case plan since we were last in court, other than the fact that he is continuing to visit with children. Ms. Zolka, Your Honor, has made no progress. She was, that's what we found at the initial 75-day review, and that continues to be the case. Mr. Moore has not had any contact with her. Ms. Zakula also is reportedly living again with Mr. Thrasher, but we can't really determine that. That's just information that the department has, that she may be residing with street address in Hampton. She is not visiting with the children, has not had any further progress on her case plan, as I indicated, Your Honor. And that's pretty much it.
Is that information true and correct, Mr. Moore?
Yes, sir. With the addition, Henry did have one drug screen since the last time we was at court. On 11/21, he had a urine screen done and a hair follicle done. We don't have the hair follicle results, but the urine screen was negative.
Was negative?
Yes, sir.
How does it take a month and you still don't have a hair follicle drug screen? Why would you be using that provider ever again?
They just sent me the urine screen after me and Mr. Shavani talked last week. So I asked for the results. They've been delayed on even sending the results. They did send me all the attempts that they went by his house in November. They went by there 11/8, 11/14, and 11/30. They only got him screened on 11/21.
Okay. But again, why would you keep using a provider that doesn't communicate and provide you the whole purpose of the test is to get the result, and they don't give you the results?
Again, Your Honor, I know the court's frustration with that issue, and I'm going to say the same thing I've said every time the court has raised that. That's above Mr. Moore's pay grade. They have the providers that they've got, and those are the ones they've got to use.
But he can complain just like I'm complaining.
Well, yeah, you can do that, but you can't ask him why. How does he know?
Also, he was rescheduled for that psychiatric that he missed for 12/14 at 10.
Okay.
And that's with new height behavior, but I hadn't been able. I sent him a letter to that address, but I haven't been able to get him to come to the door at that address.
Why don't you leave a notice on the door?
I think he knows I'll be outside.
No, but what I'm saying, if he knows you're outside and he's not going to come answer the door, put a letter to him from you on your letterhead, tape it to his front door, telling him what you wanted to tell him, that he won't come into the door to hear, to make sure he knows about the appointment.
Yes, sir.
And he can say, I didn't see it, or it blew off, or whatever. But just like people used to slide their business cards under people's doors when they wouldn't come to the door.
Okay.
Well, we can't even determine if he's actually at that address, Your Honor, to be honest.
I understand.
Even the relative that was next door before, we can't even determine if they're still living there.
Well, under what circumstances is he having these visits and contact with the kids? You say the supervised, where is it happening?
They picked Ms. Zorn or either Mr. Walter pick the kids up and take them to meet with Mr. Thrasher. And
who's Mr. Walter? Who is Mr. Walter?
Is like the kids. I think it's their one of their godparents or grandparents or something like that.
Okay.
And he'll take them down and they'll meet with Mr. Thrasher and go to like Wendy's or something in the community to do visit.
Ms. Zorn, do you know where your brother lives?
Yes, he's supposed to be at 6. I know, but no, I know when I do visitation, I meet him at the Wendy's in Hampton because I don't go to the house.
Give me the name of the house, the street name again.
I want.
That's the one
the street we've had forever.
Yes, and that's the way he's at. He's either in 15 or 16. His aunt still stay next door, so he's either back and forth from one house to the other. But that's where he's at.
Does he interact appropriately with the kids when you help him meet them?
When he meet up with them, he'll sit there for a minute and he'll interact and give them a hug or whatever. And then after that, about 30 minutes until our visit, he is ready to go. He's like, well, I'm ready to go. I was like, well, you got to 7 o'clock. And he's like, Well, he be ready to go within 30 minutes to the hour.
Mhm.
And like I tried to get him to visit with us this week, well Thursday, and he said he was, but since Stacy been back, he kind of postponed my visitations since she been back. He been trying to postpone them.
She doesn't want to
Like
visit the kids?
she ain't gonna visit with me.
Oh, with you at the visit, y'all don't get along?
No, sir. No.
Yeah.
And so he been trying to postpone his visits because she's back. So, like I told him, we have visitation today, and if he postponed, he won't see him this week because I'm offering him to meet him today this afternoon.
Yeah.
Can I just,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask Ms. Zorn, I just want to make sure I understood that right. You said that when Mr. Thrasher visits, it's only for about 30 minutes and then he's ready to leave?
About 30 minutes to an hour when he ready to go. When I tell him we visit from 5:30 to 7.
Okay. And then you said the last visit that he was supposed to have, he postponed because Ms. Zakula is back in the picture.
That's what I say. That's what I said because he didn't show up. He called me. He was like, well, let's just wait and do it again Monday. I'm like, okay, so today is Monday. And I called him this morning. I said, visitation is today. He said, okay. But whether he'll visit or not, I won't know until it's time to go this afternoon.
And is Mr. Thrasher telling you that he and Ms. Zakula are living together again?
Yeah. He said that he's back and forth next door, but he mainly always saying that she at the old apartment.
Are you talking about the old apartment in Griffin?
No, the one up there, the one that no utility and stuff in.
Okay, the Daniel Street address apartment?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That's it, Your Honor. I wanted to make sure I understood her correctly.
All right. Anybody else wish to be heard? Any questions from the lawyers?
I have a couple
Green
of
is
questions.
trying to get back on. Go ahead, Ms. Brenson.
You mentioned that Dad had not complied with service providers. What service providers is he non-compliant with?
New Heights behavioral consultants, and then he has an individual counselor through Loving Helping Hands who's been trying to reach him as well.
I'm sorry, I couldn't really understand you. Could you say that again?
The second one, the individual counselor, she's gonna help him with his parenting and everything. She's
Okay.
with Loving Helping Hands. And I think the number that I have for him is no longer a working number.
Right. Well, let's see. So New Heights, what he needs to do through them?
Big question. I didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, the psych eval is what he needs to do through New Heights?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then individual counseling. What is how do we make contact with that provider?
What do you mean? Do you want the number to the therapist?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, and what's her name?
Because I got it stored in it's Zekiya.
I'm sorry, could you say that again?
Zekiya.
Okay. Is that a first name or last name?
That's the first name.
Uh-huh.
The last name is Gwynn. It's Gwinn.
Okay. All right. And what exactly does he need to do through this provider? Does he need to set up? Oh, go ahead.
They would do his parenting classes that he has to take. And they will also do his individual counseling.
Okay. Is there a set plan for those, or is that going to be determined by the counselor?
It'll be determined by the counselor and Mr. Thrasher.
Okay. As to Mr. Thrasher's incarceration, I think there was some question as to why, but is there a question that he was incarcerated? Is the testimony that he certainly was? Or are we still unsure, unsure about whether he was incarcerated or not?
When I visited with Ms. Zorn, she had mentioned that it was a possibility that he was arrested like a couple weeks ago. So she'll be able to answer that better than me.
And who is the provider of the drug screen?
And specimens?
Yes, like who took the specimens?
No, that's the name of it.
That's the
name of it.
Specimens. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Thanks. That's all.
I have a number for Henry. If you
Okay.
want to try it.
Yes, please.
Henry.
All right.
And about his incarceration, he told me that they had picked him up. He said that his brother had called the police on him, and they picked him up because he didn't appear to court at some point when he had a court down here in Griffin. So they, I think he locked him up overnight.
Thank you.
Mhm.
He's obviously not still there.
No, he's not.
The court finds the department's made reasonable efforts to facilitate permanency. There's no material portion of the case plan that hasn't been implemented. No legally required services that haven't been provided. The case plan is appropriate for the kids, I think. I'm beginning to wonder about the mental status of both of these, especially the mother, but both parents. But I'm not going to. We're only 4 months into the case, so I'm not going to mess with the permanency plan at this time. Visitation appears appropriate. Children are not over 14. Neither parent has made substantial progress. But we'll review changes of that. The court's going to give the parties till the next 6-month review before determining whether non-reunification is appropriate. Does anybody contend that I have to make a decision on that before 6 months from now?
You do not, Your Honor. It's within the court's discretion to decide whether and when to convert a plan.
I agree with Ms. Crane. I hate to say that, but it's not a requirement, Your Honor, but it's certainly within the court's discretion to make a determination that there's been such a complete and absolute failure of either parent to make any meaningful progress that a permanency plan change to concurrent would be appropriate.
Well, that's definitely in the works if things don't change. But the only thing that, well, he did a couple of things, and then he is visiting, but this psychiatric eval is imperative, and mom hasn't done anything, and mom isn't visiting either, right?
That's correct, Your Honor. But I would point out, as to Mr. Thrasher, he's not even, with the recommendations from his current assessments, there's been no progress as to him.
I know.
Even set those up. He's not doing anything.
I wasn't meaning to applaud him other than that he's visiting and he did some of the assessments initially, but that's it.
That's correct.
In comparison, but they both have a ways to go, a long ways to go. All right, you can take an order that we've reviewed them and I've made those findings. Thank y'all for your time.
What's your review date, Your Honor? I mean, you already have it, but what is it?
Did you still want to come back in June, even though we're coming back in April?
Jessica says we're coming in April for the 9-month permanency based on the age, I guess, of the younger child.
That would be the April 30th.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and put the 6-month out. We'll review it. Maybe we'll get their attention and they'll start.
Yep. we have a 9-month permanency review set for April 30th at 2, Your Honor.
So we just come back in 2 months after that.
Yeah. I'm gonna have her put the 6-month review from 6 months from now, which would be 2 months after that. Would be in June. June 10th at 9 o'clock on Zoom. Okay?
All right.
Thank y'all for your time. Ms. Zorn,
Yes, sir.
tell your brother he needs to come and tell me what's going on.
I sure will, Your Honor.
Thank you for your help.
Thank you.